that works as well.
We'll see. It's a toss-up, you know. It's a tech day. It's a tech day.
Well, it's not like we moved the team meeting. It's been 11 o'clock on Wednesdays for literally a decade, literally 10 years. This hasn't moved. People probably know it's here.
Yes, but what's going to remind you that it's 11 o'clock on Wednesday?
I don't know, my phone, my watch, my calendar. Like I have like a lot of I need the help, for crying out loud.
Well,
I have a lot of reminders.
We've got a really great update today. Our friend Kim Thomasen is going to be in with us very soon. We are doing a market update, and so she's going to share with us what we've seen over the last several months in the market, so we can look at the stats and you can be prepared to have those conversations with your clients. We're also going to zoom in on a local level and see what you guys, the agents of this market center, have done over the last few months, and help you tell those stories out in the world as well, so that you can win more listings and help your buyers with the value that you provide inside of the transaction. So what do you think, guys? Ready to go? Dun, dun, dun. Let's dive in. Welcome to the team meeting. Forgive me for just a moment as I fumble around my screen. I want to have all of your beautiful faces up as I can. All right, guys, here we go. As we've started off the last several weeks, we are going to continue just a reminder of who we are as an organization. This is our MVVBP, our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. We'll start this morning with our mission as a company. Keller Williams' mission is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. All right. Our vision: to be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers. Here's what I always remind people, and it brings me back to our vision. Keller Williams doesn't sell real estate. Keller Williams supports real estate agents' businesses. We are real estate agents partners, and real estate agents sell real estate, right? You work with your buyers and sellers, and it is our vision to be the company of choice, to be your preferred partners in real estate, because both you and your clients prefer the experience with Keller Williams. Our values, very simple. It's God and family, and then business. Being able to prioritize the most important things in our life, and know that when we're building our business, we're really building on what we are able to deliver for our families, for our spirituality, for who we are as whole individuals. Our belief system, in a very particular order, it's the Y4C2Ts, right? It's a win-win or no deal. We have integrity, to do the right thing. Customers always come first. We have commitment in all things. Communication, we seek first to understand, right? Ideas before results. It's creativity. Teamwork, where together everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty. Equity, opportunities for all. And success results through people. These are the rules by which we do business at Keller Williams. And our perspective, who do we see ourselves to be? Well, we're a technology company that provides the real estate platform that our agents, buyers, and sellers prefer. Keller Williams thinks like a top producer, acts like a trainer consultant, and focuses all of its activities on service, productivity, and profitability. That's who we are. And we have some updates. Donna, do you have anything for us today before we dive into market updates?
Yes, I would like a couple of things. I would like everybody to remember, there's a couple things that have come up recently. One is whether you should go to inspections or not. And the answer is yes, but you do not comment, you do not talk. You sit in a kitchen or a living room or a dining room and do work. Do not follow the inspector around. I know that there are people who think they shouldn't show up, but if you have a buyer agency for your buyer, you need to be there, or you need to make sure it's a licensed person to be there, because unlicensed people generally are not going to be able to get into the property, and it's a problem. Now, there's other people who think that that's not appropriate, that you shouldn't go, but how does this sound? Oh, I'm your buyer agent, but oh, by the way, I'm just not going to be at your inspection. That doesn't sound very good, and I don't think you're representing your buyer very well. You do not comment on anything that is in that house. You just walk around, you get the report. I would also strongly suggest that you're going to have the inspector go over it with the buyer, which is fine, except remember that that house may be having a video and audio in that house. So be very careful what you say. And I would not comment on anything. That's number one. Number two is please be real careful when you're pricing your property. We are having a number of properties come back under the agreed upon selling price, and make sure your buyers can have their dollars when they come to closing, whatever they say they're going to do, if it's 5,000 or 10,000. It's becoming a huge problem, guys. And the appraisers are only appraising what they see as, what the value is, not that a buyer is paying 50 grand over or whatever the case may be. So just be careful how you price those houses, and hopefully caution and check with your lender, even if you represent the buyer, that if he makes an offer over the list price, does he actually have the cash to do it? It's becoming a huge problem. And thirdly, we're running into agents who do not know their contracts very well. Not our side, the other side. So, stand your ground, look at your contracts, read them, make sure you know what you see. And if you have any questions, be sure to call me. But we are definitely running into some battles where, and I'll give you one more. The battle that's on the table now is that everybody wants to put MEC +3 or +5 on your earnest money. And I've already had 2 calls, not this week, but last week, of what the agent, the real estate agent in our office felt like it was one day. The selling agent said it was another. Please be specific on your dates. Do not put in MEC plus anything. It is a fight starting, and you haven't even gone into the contract yet. So that is great. The other thing is, seasoned agents, listen up. You're putting MNAs in your contract. Please do not do that. You blow out your paragraphs. You totally delete them. So watch where your NAs are. Don't put them in your contract. There we go.
Donna, that is a very good point. And I wanted to bring this back to what I think is my favorite book for this season in real estate. It's a good one. It should probably be on your bookshelf. And if it isn't, revisit this. Shift is a companion to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, but it's also kind of the tactical guide on how to build a really big business, right? MREA gives you the models and the construct, the foundation in which to build it on, but this is actually the tactical how-to guide. Here's the thing: the Shift book was written during the market downturn after the bubble burst, and however many years ago now. Gosh, I keep wanting to say 10, but it was a lot more than that, wasn't it?
07, 08, 09.
Yep. And so here's what this book is about. These are the best practices of the agents whose businesses grew during the market shift last time. Our market is in a shift now. It's not the same kind of shift. There's not a bubble that's about to burst, but I tell you what, this is a highly skilled market, and it's very different than the market of the past, and it's very different than the market of the future. It is in a shift, and tough times are there for everybody. Like, make sure that you will have those tactics. But Donna, it reminded me of, it's tactic number 12 in shift: bulletproof the transaction.
Right.
There are two distinct schools of thought when you get into the transaction. One will bite you in the butt in this market. The first school of thought is, I'm not doing the other side's job. I'm the listing agent, I'm not doing the buyer agent's job. I'm the buyer's agent, I'm not doing the listing agent's job. The other school of thought is, I'm going to do whatever it takes to keep this deal together because I represent what needs to happen for my client, and it's in my client's best interest that this deal stays together. And I'm going to, even if I have to step over the line and help the other agent do their job, I'm going to do it. That is one of the keys to bulletproofing the transaction. Walk into it thinking you own the whole thing. And then it's a bonus if you have a competent agent on the other side that's helping you get there. But wrap your arms around it. Embrace the fact that you may have to do more than what you signed up for, right? Sometimes you have to help the other agent on the other side of the transaction, especially with the things that we're seeing right now. We're seeing agents who are unable to interpret contract clauses correctly and are misrepresenting them to their sellers, right?
That is
obviously losing, their sellers are losing out on that opportunity, but then there are better offers that aren't being selected, right? There are so many opportunities for us to just communicate well with the other side and have a great relationship there, to move that transaction forward. So if you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend you do. And that's a great chapter to go to. It's tactic number 12, bulletproof the transaction.
And don't create problems for yourself by not filling out the contract properly. And I will tell you, many of our agents have gotten deals accepted because they filled out the contract properly and they were good stewards of their contract. And it is not always about price. It's about how you wrote it. How do you present it? Did you communicate with the other agent? And I'm finding more and more our agents are communicating and they're getting their offers accepted. But if you don't tweak these things and do your job and don't put the NAs, don't put MECs, be specific in every date you've got, you're going to have the other side thinking you're the greatest thing since sliced bread if you follow those directions.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm talking to agents all the time where their offer was selected because they had a great contract and great communication, or they selected an offer because it was a great contract and great communication. The two go hand in hand. So
absolutely.
Contracts class on Mondays if you need a reminder, right?
And those that are seasoned agents, and I've been reading some of them, you might want to try to start coming to them because some of them are not as well written as I think they should be, guys. Just saying.
Donna?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. On my inspections, I have to interpret to my buyers. So I try to keep really to the points that the inspector is making and the questions that my buyers have. What can you hear? Okay.
Vicki, you're in a unique situation. So your unique situation is a little different, and we'll talk offline, but you're doing the right thing because you're interpreting. So just continue on, but keep good notes as to what you're saying.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have another question. I have a question also, please.
Yep.
18.2 specifically says how to compute the MEC dates. So I'm confused on what the question is and why we couldn't use it.
Well, because here's what happens. Most agents, including our own, are not reading 18.6. Number one. Number two is I've had many battles over the last month about who's delivering the earnest money on what day because it was MEC +3 or MEC +5. So if you wrote the contract and you didn't put, you had ended up having Saturday dates in your contract, as many people on the other side do. And then I get a call from our listing agent who says, well, they didn't deliver the earnest money today and it's already Tuesday. And when I called the other agent, she thought it was Wednesday. Now, when you get back to back to back kind of statements like that, that believes me to believe, one, Angela, they're not reading the contract, which is also true. But number two is the fact that why don't we make it really simple and just put a date in there? Wouldn't that like?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I was just confused on how it could be misinterpreted because back in the day it used to be, but now it says what it is. So I was just confused on that.
But they're not reading it, Angela. They're not reading it. And we
Right.
have agents that are writing dates that fall on Saturday and Sunday or a holiday. And then it goes to the next day. And everybody is totally confused. And I'm the one that gets the calls. So all I'm saying is to make our life easier and your life easier, let's try to be specific with a date in the contract.
Got it.
Okay. There you go.
Awesome. Well, and I hear you there, Angela, right? Because we can interpret that and make common sense on when the contract was fully executed and what counts as a day after that. And this has been an issue since the beginning of time. I mean, it used to go back and forth. And well, you remember, right? In short sale times when everything was written as, you know, SSA or MMC,
MEC, yep.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't clarified back then what it meant. We would have
Right.
to write it in, and now I don't know. It's part of the contract, so
Well, the
why
other
it's
Damien's solution to this problem is that once
Put
you
a
get a
date.
contract that has MECs, and I'm not talking about SSAs right now, I'm just talking about MECs. You should do one of two things: either counter it and put dates in a counter, or you should write an email specifying those dates. My first thing that I would like is that you would counter and make sure the dates are appropriate, and that you counter to make sure the dates are whatever the dates are, okay? If you do that, you have less battles, and you have many battles in a contract. Why fight over the dates?
that I agree with.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Question.
Christine, you've got a
So
question.
what if I want to write backup offer, then I can't have a date on it?
You can put dates on them, and then you put into additional provisions that all parties agree the dates will be adjusted. So you
Okay.
can put dates out a couple of months, and then you can put into additional provisions that sellers and buyers hereby agree the dates will be adjusted once it becomes and moves into first position.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any
Awesome.
more? Otherwise, it's Anna.
All right.
I was gonna say, Damien has some great clauses for that too, for backup
Absolutely,
positions.
he does.
So always look through those.
Yeah, always look for those clauses first. Now you're on, Anna.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, let's dive in. I think, yeah, there we go. Kim's back. Hello, Kim. Oh, I
You have
can't
to
hear you.
unmute, my friend.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yay.
Here I say some big hi and I have my mute on. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's so nice to see you guys again on Zoom, and I so look forward to seeing you all in person. I'm hoping that is something that I want to feel, we feel comfortable doing down the road. But in the meantime, I'm super happy to be here today and update you guys on some things. Amy had been so gracious. We kind of have been trying to do the Facebook Live thing and getting some stats out to you guys. And so I don't know if you had been seeing those. We're going to try to get back to some semblance of some orderly delivery of those. And this is the start of that. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys some things today. And then I will send some things to Amy to put up on the Facebook page. And then I will also follow up with some follow-ups. So looking forward to that. And just hope everyone's families and friends are okay through all of this. And I'm here to help with whatever you guys need. So I am going to share my screen and show you all some stats this morning. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. Oops, hold on. See? Okay, can you guys see that? Yes? Somebody?
Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. This is a new computer for me, so I'm a little nervous. Okay. This is our overall Greater Metro Denver highlight reel, which I do think gives you guys kind of an overall thought on where things are. And luckily, March into April, we saw an uptick in inventory. And you will see that 7 county-wide, we were up month over month significantly in inventory. Now, significantly still means we are fairly low, but this is, I think, a nice little bit of a breather and a way for you guys to have some more inventory to show your buyers and some more to kind of work with. So those are my numbers for the 7 county inventory specific where we are as we got through the end of April. And so that's good. And overall, a little bit of a breather, like I said, in inventory. It also shows that our detached single family in Douglas County surpassed Denver for the first time. We are at almost 800,000 in an average sale price in Douglas County, which I really can't believe. So we surpassed Denver County on that. And, you know, volume is still very high. And there's still so much opportunity going on out there. And there's a lot of things going on. And people definitely in this time of year, going into May, June, and July, as kids are out of school and people are trying to make changes. And I think a lot of delays from the COVID situation we were in last year, of course, unless you were midstream and kind of still doing some things, a lot of people held off. And I think this is going to give some people an opportunity to figure out what their next steps are. And so I'm excited about this and seeing kind of inventory picking up some and seeing some of our inventory. I mean, our other things, days on market are still very low and average sale price is still increasing. So I think our overall price, we are about 28% year over year in increase in average sale price. I'm kind of don't want to say that too loud. But this is our market snapshot for detached and attached combined in the 7 metro counties. And you'll see our flip was about October of 2020, where we dipped below, our active units dipped below under contracts and solds. And we have stayed under that really through now, and which is where we've seen the tight market and things being highly competitive. So that you're not, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not thinking the wrong thing here as far as having low inventory and active units being very low. It is very low and has been, excuse me, for a little bit. We are, though the increase in month over month changes, you'll see there have been increasing, and our year over year change is, you know, obviously very low. We were 69% down compared to April of 2020. But that's when we were kind of all shut down as well. So we almost have to look back at 19 to see where we were versus 2020, because it was such a weird year. So if you look back at April of 2020, you'll see that we were at 7,890 active units, whereas last month we were at 2,401. So it definitely is an indicator of low inventory, which I know is the name of the game right now. But we have other things to show you. This is our overall detached slide here for you. And then we have our overall attached, which is very similar actually. You'll see we dropped below active units under our under contracts and solds starting in July, really, of last year. Whereas our attached single family didn't dip till the beginning of this year. Under our under contracts and sold. So that was a little bit of a change there between the two different markets. We also had our active units here. This is our active listings analysis, and this is where you'll see what I just pointed out, 700, almost 7,900 units, April of 19 versus 2481. I'm sorry, it was 81. I said 2401, April of this year. So it definitely is, that's kind of the name of the game right now. But I definitely see you guys using these stats as a way to talk to sellers, as a way to talk to buyers about the opportunities, about what's going on. Interest rates is kind of the 800-pound gorilla in the room right now. I think that that's definitely going to have an impact going into the next couple of years. Inflation is also going to be an issue. So take advantage of these low interest rates. That is a good conversation to have with buyers right now. And of course, the seller's opportunity is a seller's opportunity. And this is a really good way for you to show them. So let me just kind of get through some of these other ones here. This is attached active listings overall over the last couple of years. We have 921 active single family homes on the market right now, which is a 67% decrease over last year. So even the attached market has gotten a little tighter. Inventories, I know I keep talking about inventories, which I will kind of skip through these. You guys I will send these to you so you can kind of analyze a little bit further where you guys might be in these different counties. On the left, the bottom left corner will show you the actual numbers per county of where inventory is. What I want to get to is this one, and then we'll dive more into Douglas County and more specifically in Lone Tree in a minute. But here's active sold by price range for detached and attached together. And this shows in active units, you've got our biggest range is 600,000 to 800,000. We had 463 units. And then of course, almost our biggest category there was in solds from 600,000 to 800,000, almost 1,100 there. So that's our biggest category for active units and solds almost. The more, obviously the higher sold listings between 400,000 and 500,000. But that category is decreasing, as we all know. So the inventory is less in that category, and competition is more fierce as we get below the 450 range. So I think it's interesting to show how our market is changing a little bit and how the price range is going up. There's still quite a bit of opportunity going up in price because people honestly are moving to Denver with money. A lot of them are moving from other areas that have enough income and enough down payment money to be able to do the higher priced homes. And that's, I think, what's driving somewhat of our average sale price increasing so much. If anyone has a comment, please stop me and comment. I'm not looking at the chat, so I can't see the chat. So if you have a comment, please just blurt it out. Okay. Here's our detached only. So this shows our active versus sold by price range in detached. And again, our largest category was 600,000 to 800,000. So that stayed steady between the overall market and just detached. So you guys can take a look at this, and I'll send this out to you guys so you guys can look at it more closely. I also want to show you guys the month's supply of inventory versus days on market. So this is the overall market. And of course, when we get to 3 million plus, that is a new category we added. We only just used to go 2 million plus and kind of leave that category and go into the abyss. And of course, with our increase in average sale price, we have added that category. So that obviously takes our averages into a different realm a little bit. But anyway, you guys can look at this as far as our averaged month supply of inventory. We are still under a month if you go under 1 million. And that's kind of crazy. So we are definitely still in that very quick market and things needing to be happening quickly. So keep an eye on that, as well as our average days on market. We are about at a month and under. If you are 1 million or actually 2 million under, you're about a month of inventory or under. So this is a really good slide to show sellers that are on the fence and don't know what to do. This is the time to do it. And if they are on the fence of whether or not they should, I'm hoping that some of these slides will shed some light and so show folks kind of what is going on, because it's not going to happen like this forever. It's just not. And like Anna was pointing out, the shift, that shift is going to happen eventually. And so with these low interest rates and the price points being where they are and the frenzy a little bit right now, good time to sell, like we all know, right? Okay.
What's cool too also, Kim, is that with that average price point going up, that
Yeah.
just means bigger commissions.
Right. Exactly. And, you guys going up against those discount brokers, you can definitely sell your service, your extra points of that customer service that will drive that commission. Right. And so that's a good way to point out your value, which your value is a very strong, and you guys are able to point out what you guys are going to be doing to get those higher commissions. So, okay. Here is our sold analysis. So this shows our sold units, and we highlighted year over year. So you'll look at 19. So April of 2019, we had 4,901 versus this past April, we had 5,277. So definitely a little bit of an increase in our sold analysis over the, I'm skipping 2020 because it was weird. So that shows that it's been a strong market, and it has been for the last 5 or 6 years, as we know. But people, like I said, that have been on the fence, this is not going to be forever, right?
Hey, Kim.
Okay. Average sale price, look at that.
Hey, Kim, I got a question for you as far as inventory goes.
Yep.
So how do we change this narrative? The narrative has been, hey, we have a shortage of listings. The fact is we're not short of listings month over month or year over year. We just simply have more buyers.
Right.
Right?
Well,
because we're selling more than we've sold. Right? But the narrative out on the street is that that we have less listings, when we actually have more listings sold. We just have
Right.
more buyers.
Right. And so things are on inventory. The inventory is so short. And that's probably something you could talk about too, is to say, if you are wanting to make a move, and this is something that you've wanted to make a move now, things aren't going to sit on the market for 3 or 4 or 5 months.
Right.
Something where it's going to be on the, if you priced it right, that's the caveat, right? You price it right.
Right.
Then it will go quickly. For the most part, things are going quickly. And that's why I think the inventory shows very low, even though our sold units has increased over 19's numbers.
Yeah, I'm going to change my narrative a little bit in my listing appointments and just let sellers know that we're selling more listings than we did last year.
Yeah.
At the same time frame, right?
Yep.
So
last year and in 19 too. I mean, we sold 4,900 in April of 19, and we sold almost 5,300 in April of 2021.
I think it changes sellers' perspective in that it's not that we can't find you the next home. The listings are out there.
Yeah.
Right. You just have to find the right one and put yourself in a financial position to be able to actually buy it. It's not that it's not there. And I just think it's a different perspective for sellers to get them to understand that it's not that we can't find the home.
Well, and I think it's your expertise in finding the home for them that will kind of take them off the nervous list, right? Because right now people are nervous about it. And also having a strong lender that will know what they can qualify for, that know what they can do with their money and be creative with it, or give them an option to give them a post-occupancy agreement for a month or two, and that gives them an opportunity to find something. I mean, has to be some creativity there. People to feel like they can jump off and do it. I think people are worried about, if I sell my house, where am I going to go? Right? So does that make sense? I feel like I'm talking into the air. Okay.
Well, it makes total sense. It does. It just changes. I think it changes the conversations for me a little bit, which is a good thing.
All right. So Ricky, this is another one you can use right here. Here's your sold units year to date.
Mm-hmm.
This is detached and attached together. Now I'll show you the next one is just detached, but look how we are March and April of this year, which we're comparing to last year. So again, the world fell apart at this time last year. So you have to take that.
Yeah, but Kim, if we look at the first 3 months of last year, those of you who were around at the beginning of 2020, that 2020 started out like gangbusters.
Yes, it did.
It was an explosive year. It started out very, very strong. For a lot of us, we were on a trajectory to have our very best year ever, because January, March, and April were record breaking. record breaking. Look at this year's January or January, February, and March were record breaking. April was record breaking, but in a whole different way last year. We remember that. January, February, and March last year, record breaking. And look at where we are this year.
Yeah.
Blowing them out of the water, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Anna. And Ricky too, that's a really good way to approach the situation as opposed to just saying, oh, you know, Debbie Downer, inventory is so low, inventory is this. You really shouldn't use that as an excuse. It should be something as an opportunity to say, look what we've been doing and look how many sold units we have already this year, and things are just going fast. That's all. So there is ways for people to make their next move, whatever move that is, right? All right, so let me just show you guys. This is both, and then this is just detached. If you guys are just going with the detached market, you know, there's your sold units there. So these are good slides to use, I think. Here's our attached, in case you guys are in the attached market. This is what that looks like. Okay. So let me jump over to, if I could just, I hate that when the thing is like right there. How do I move? Okay. Here's our Douglas County. Okay. Sorry, I just kind of had to do that with, I couldn't see my tabs. Okay. So here's Douglas County. So take what we just learned on what's going on overall in 7 metro counties to more specifically what is going on in Douglas County. And again, we are.
Kim, yours, oh, it did change.
Did it change? Sorry.
It did, yeah.
Okay. Here's our market snapshot of active under contracts and solds in just Douglas County. This is detached only. Greater Metro Denver update does the combined. But this shows, again, look where we started in June and how things went quickly through the roof June of last year. Once things kind of loosened up a little bit after April and May, we were under the under contracts and solds as far as active units starting in July, and we've been there. So it's, like I said, it's talking the right talk and speaking clearly and truthfully, at the same time being able to talk people through how are they going to work, how is it going to look, and what are you going to do, and let me help you with it, right? Because you guys are their consultant and their value. You know, you're giving them your value proposition, right? So this is a good couple slides to use when you guys are talking about Douglas County only. And like I said, Douglas County, we are 28% year over year up in average sale price, which is good for commissions, Angela, right? Okay.
Yes, it is. Very good. Especially as there seems to be a squish on the commissions. That means that hopefully you're not, you know, discounting your commission. And if you are, you're still making better money.
Right. Exactly. Here's our sold units, guys, in Douglas County. So that speaks again very consistently with what we just saw for the 7 metro counties in the detached market. We were a little under in January and February, and then we were over in March. So still very close as far as activity. This one is kind of crazy, but we should look at April. So we were a little over 2 months of inventory in April of 19. About where we were of April of 2020, about the same. And then we've just kind of decreased since then. Picked up some though. We did increase month over month in inventory in every market, like we talked about the first highlight reel. That is truthfully what happened. And here's our days on market, which is obviously speaks to our competition right now and how much there are a lot of buyers out there, a lot of people coming from out of state, a lot of people with money, right, that are coming in that wanting to buy cash. And so there's a lot of competition as far as the days on market go.
This is just detached, or is this combined?
This is detached only.
Okay.
I didn't pull up the attached market for Douglas County. I do have it. So if you want that, let me know.
Kim, will you zoom in on this one a little bit just so we can see the dates?
Yep. Is that better?
There we go. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And so this is something that, that the jury's still out. We won't know until we know if we're going to return back to this cycle this year. You see, we skipped it last year, right? That all of the cycles, the average days on market goes up and down. There's price fluctuations, there's inventory fluctuations, right? We go through this kind of peak and valley naturally, seasonally in our real estate market, right? Where August, September, that inventory starts to slow down. Through the fall months, the days on market start to pick up, and then January comes and it's like, you know, somebody clicked on the open sign and all of a sudden it's real estate season, right? And so we've got that kind of natural ebb and flow that we didn't have last year, right? We had kind of the opposite last year. And so will we return to something like that this year? Kim, what do you guys have any predictions on that, on what that looks like this year? Are we going to see that kind of, you know, leveling off in the fall?
I think things will cool off a little bit going into the fall because people are going to get back to where they feel like it's, hopefully COVID stays at bay and people feel like they're getting back to what would be normal. And we always have the same seasonality of folks getting back their kids back to school, and then we roll into the holiday season. So usually things slow down a little bit in the fall, just naturally for those reasons. And I think people are going to want to kind of be settled and feel like they can get their kids back. It can feel normal. And so I think things will slow down a little bit going into September, October. That's my prediction. I do think that our demand is still high here. And our new builds are behind. You know, you remember we didn't build in the Denver metro area for about 7 years. So I think that slowness of the new builds coming back online has fueled our not having enough inventory is partly it. And just with the factors of what's going on in our country, I think people are moving around, right? People think they can work from home and can live anywhere. And so I think it's gonna, and then we've got the baby boomers, which, have you guys heard my baby boomers philosophy? So I think that's also going to come into play where.
Well, what is that baby boomers philosophy, Kim?
Well, this is it. So my parents are at the this is all positive stuff. My parents are at the top of the baby boomer age group. So they're 74, and the 46, I think born in 46 to 55, I think is the baby boomer decade, right? And so with those folks starting to retire and figure out what they're going to do next and getting their vaccines and feeling they can start making moves on what they want to do next, I think that's also going to help fuel our inventory a little bit, where people are going to feel like they can make their next steps when they were thinking about it last year. I think the next year or two, that's going to, people are going to start making changes of what they are doing once they start retiring. And that will, I think, drum up some activity. Do you agree, Donna?
I do. And I think the other thing that's going to come into this mix is that the third and fourth quarter are when the forbearances are starting to hit. Now, I don't think we're going to be in that short sale situation that we were before, but I believe that, and I don't know how many people would be putting their houses on the market, but I've already experienced several of the agents in the office have put people's houses on the market because they can't pay the forbearance back. So not only do they pay and which is what they don't understand, is they will be paying whatever amount of dollars they owe, plus interest, plus attorney's fees. So instead of $30,000, and we already had a closing that this happened to, they thought they were getting $60,000 or $70,000 back. They ended up getting less, around 30, because between what they owed, attorney's fees and interest, it tacked on an additional $30,000. And I think what we're going to discover is that so many homeowners don't understand totally what forbearance is, because they think when they say, oh, it's going to be tacked on the other end, but they're not including the interest and the tax and the attorney's fees. So I think it's going to play a part in the third and fourth quarter of this year also.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And I think unfortunately there have been some folks that have been getting stimulus checks that have also not been super responsible about it and just out spending it instead of trying to pay the mortgage or trying to do other things. And so people are going to be underwater.
Yes, we've already had several of those in listings. We've already had one short sale, and by God, somebody would have a short sale. I'm not real sure, but I think they've used their house as an ATM machine.
Right.
So yes, there's going to be some issues that we're going to experience in third or fourth that most of the agents on this meeting have never experienced.
I agree. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And it's going to be a dichotomy of the baby boomers wanting to sell and move on and figure out what they're doing. The interest rates may be going up. The forbearance is coming due. There's going to be a lot of factors, I think.
And a lot of these sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, playing in the overall market, right?
Well, and a lot of the baby boomers, they're consolidating households is what I'm finding. And so a need for the next generation style type home or mother-in-law apartments is going to be a lot more of a need also. So it's something to tell your sellers, like if they're almost there on a mother-in-law apartment, it might be worth investing the little bit more to make it what it could be for that market.
Yeah.
Yeah, because seniors are being priced out of purchasing a property just like first-time home buyers are, and even renting anything.
Or, I mean, the retirement homes, the assisted living places are really expensive.
Yes, they are. Very, very expensive.
For a mother-in-law or in-laws to move into their kids' homes, I think is, like you said, Angela, is also going to play a role too, because it's just so expensive for these assisted living places, you know?
Yeah, because the nurse or the assisted living run from $5,000 to $7,000 per month.
Insane. All right.
I want to say one more thing about this slide real quick.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that if you follow it, like it looks like a seasonal adjustment, July to August, and then October to November. However, if you think about it in context of what was happening, we had riots in June, July, and then we had the election, October, November. So was that uptick really a seasonal adjustment, or was it circumstances that scared people off a little bit? Just something to think about and something to, I don't know, maybe throw out there for your sellers.
Yeah, because really, if you look at that, 22 days, when it dipped right there is probably about election time or a little before that.
Yep, right before it, and people are holding tight. And then the riots were going on right around June, July.
Yeah, and we were at 29 days then.
Yep.
But if you think about this is just Douglas County. So the riots were not happening in Douglas County, and a lot of the unrest was not happening as far south, right? So maybe this market didn't have as much impact with that. I don't know.
Well, or it could have just been the lack of consumer confidence because it is going on somewhere else, you know,
Right.
Or is it seasonal? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
It falls in line with both.
Well, and
So-
Angela, I guess the question is, I don't see a seasonal adjustment for last year at all. I see January, we peaked in days on market, and then it dropped and it stayed low. And since the beginning of this year, it's continued to plummet, right? Days on market. And so usually there's a couple of months in the fall, right? October, November, December, where it starts to climb incrementally. And it didn't do that last year.
Yeah.
It
Not-
didn't do that at all. In fact, it continued to decline. And so, you know, are we going to return to that increase this fall in days on market? And I think there's so many variables at play. We can, you know, is it going to stay this low? Is really a
Right,
question.
because that's the question. All of this information leads us to our predictions, which are unknown because there are a ton of variables with all of it.
Absolutely.
All the things we just brought up, right?
Absolutely.
It's just hang on, educate yourself as much as you can, be able to talk to your sellers and talk with your buyers and sellers of what might make sense with the information you have at the time, right? Because nobody knows what the next 6 or 9 months or year are going to look like. And that's where I'm hoping these stats will help you guys show your clients visuals of, this is what we saw, this is what happened, this is, we don't really know what the future looks like, but this is, at least we're having to kind of be able to go through what we did see go through 2020 and where things have been so far in 2021. What are your plans and what makes sense? And, that's when you guys, being their consultants that you are, really is what you need to do, right? Okay, let me just do one more little drill down here. This is my market snapshot for Lone Tree. Okay, so this shows just in Lone Tree what was going on and what is going on. And it looks pretty similar to Douglas County. It's just a smaller version of it, where we really have, it's a little more disjointed.
And you can dive into those locations if somebody wants to get something specific like Lone Tree or Highlands Ranch or Centennial or whatever, or zip code, right? You can do it by zip code.
City, county, or zip code.
Perfect.
So that's, and then we could do market trend report. That's new also that I wanted, maybe next time I get on with you guys, I'll show you that. It's an 8.5 by 11 sheet that comes along with a farm you do, that we can drill down a little bit more. Now it's not going to have these same slides, but it's going to have a pie chart of owner occupied versus absentee owner. It's going to have average sale price over a period of time in that farm area. It's going to have price per square foot. It's going to have, some of those things that are just specific to the farm that you are researching, right?
That's awesome. And we'll have these. There's a question in the chat. Where can you get these? So we'll have the ones that we looked at today will be available via the Facebook page. I don't know if we have those yet, Kim, or if you still need to send them to us. But if you are looking for something specific, Kim, how would they get that?
I'll trying to think of how I could do it. I will also, can I post on Facebook the link for the Local Insights order form? Can I do that, Amy?
Oh, no, but you can send it to me and I'll make sure and put it in there. If you send me all of the slides, I'll post them into Facebook and I will put all your contact info in there for them too.
Yeah, that'd be good. Because if people want to email me or text me is even better, that if you guys want a specific area, and then I have a Local Insights order form that I can send out to everybody. What I could do is, as a follow-up, to send it out to everyone to say, here's what we went over today. Here's, check the Facebook page for the current stats we went over. If you want a more specific area, here's your link. And then they can click on that and order what they need.
Perfect. Yep.
Okay.
We can do that.
All right. So I'll do that. I'll get these over to you right after we get off, Amy.
Cool. Thanks.
So, and how much, and I don't want to take any more time if I'm running out here.
Awesome. Well, we are 5 minutes to noon. So yeah, if you want to wrap up so that I can bring, we've got just a couple more things to wrap up with the team.
Okay. Just real quick. I think that, right now this is a big one right here. So look at our detached single family and Lone Tree, the opportunities so far this year. And that's awesome because things have really picked up in Lone Tree. Which I think is a great visual to also show people if you're around the 80124 Lone Tree area. But these same 5 slides are available for that, like I said, any city, county, or zip of these same 5. So it's the average, it's this one, then it's the average sale price, then it's sold units, then it's month supply of inventory, and the last one is days on market. And those 5 slides are what we send to you with whatever city, zip code, or county you need. So I will get these over to you, Amy. I will stop my share so you guys can finish up. And but I really appreciate you guys letting me get on today. And I love seeing the few faces I can see. I can't see everybody, but anyway, I really appreciate it, Anna. And just let me know what I can do in the future as we get going with getting back in person or whatever we do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today. And so let's wrap up. We just took a look at the numbers on a large scale, right? Across the country, the story is really similar. These slides will get posted on our Facebook as well. So so what's happened with Keller Williams Realty International across the country, right? You're seeing April was a huge month, obviously, right? Last April, things were shut down, but this year has been really strong compared to last year also, right? We walk into our local market at RE Colorado, and we just went over all of a lot of these numbers, right? 16% up in closed units year to date. We're nearly even this year over last year on listings taken, right? So Ricky, that was a great point. It's not that we have less inventory or less listings coming on the market. There's just as many coming on the market. In fact, even more than last year coming on the market. So you're able to find that home. It's going to take that skilled agent as a consultant to walk you through it. Look at this though, contracts written nearly flat to last year. Something I want to point out is where we're at as an office. You guys are killing it, right? Up 33% almost year to date in closed sales, up 15% in listings taken. I tell you, you're not the ones struggling with inventory on this market. You're taking more listings than you ever have before. Listings sold up substantially as well. So you're pricing them well and you're getting them sold. But here's the big deal, contracts written. This is you guys going under contract. You are 36% better this year at getting your clients under contract than you were last year. If that's not a compelling value proposition right now, I don't know what is, right? Who do you want to work with? The agent who's just average at getting you under contract or your new home, or the agent that's 36% better at getting you under contract this year? So remember that these are your numbers. You are inside of this. So if you don't have your own numbers or know your own numbers, then you are a part of our numbers and you can share this. These will be on the Facebook page today. And where are we at versus the market right now? I'm going to go right to the end, that contracts written volume. We are outpacing the market by 34%. You guys are 34% better than the average agent at getting your clients under contract right now. Do you understand how important that is? It's huge. It's incredible. Yes, Donna, huge round of applause, pat on the back. You guys are doing something special, right? It's a part of this collaboration that we're having that's allowing us to achieve more. Remember, we started with those rules by which we do business, teamwork, together we achieve more. And this is what that's all about. So kudos to you. And look at that, 17% more listings taken this year. 17%. You're nailing it on such a high level, guys. And look at this. In the month of April, y'all closed more volume as a group than we've ever sold before in the history of our organization. So kudos to you. That is an all-time record, over $25 million in real estate sold in April. And spoiler alert, we are surpassing that in May. So we've got a lot of records coming up. You guys are just blowing my mind. Listings sold, all-time record there. Contracts written, all-time records. You have never written as much business as you did last month, except for maybe this month, right? Keep it going. You're doing all of the right things. I know it feels frustrating. It's a grind out there. Y'all are nailing it. You are doing it. You are the high bar in the industry. You are the standard others are looking to reach. So keep doing what you're doing. Listen to Donna's advice, read your shift book, and keep on taking more business. Oh, and by the way, you gave yourself a raise this year. Congratulations. Did you know that your gross commission income is up 35% this year? Kudos to you. It is an honor to be in business with you guys. Quick updates. We've got class today at 2 o'clock, Models of a Millionaire Real Estate Agent. We're talking about the organizational chart today. next week at team meeting, we've got a handful of updates. We've got the next round of the Battle of the Script Champions, and we are diving into COVID regulations and what they mean in your business. How do you conduct business now that we are kind of back to normal-ish in some places sometimes? What does that mean, and how do we read between the lines on that? And how can we conduct our business in a safe and responsible way as these restrictions change and grow and develop, which is a real deja vu to this time last year, because I think we were talking about it on a daily basis then. So we are back to that. We'll see you all soon. Check out that KWPM needs website if you're looking for a showing assistant, or click the link on that website if you're looking to become one. We've got a whole database of agents in the office who are ready to go. If you're sticking around, I'm going to give you bonus material, but just really quick. Did you know Keller Mortgage is doing a refi special right now? Save 1/4 point. You and your clients, all you have to do is introduce them to Keller Mortgage. In fact, this was so compelling, I started my own refi application this week. My rates locked in close to 3%. So if you thought you missed low interest rates and the opportunity to refi your home, this runs through June 30th. It's a great touch for your clients. And there's even a whole communication kit on KW Connect, so that you can talk to your clients more about how valuable this is, right? No lender fees, no appraisal fees, none of that. So this is your opportunity. Check it out, guys. And I think we're done. I'm going to let y'all get back to your Wednesday. Have an awesome day. Kim, thank you so much for making it with us today. I so appreciate you and your partnership, and for that big update. You guys are amazing. We'll see. Excuse me. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Take care.